Hi guys, I am finally back with another video, and this one is sort of similar to my first video when I talked about my languages that I speak, except I wanted to tell you guys all about my newest language, which is Brazilian Portuguese. So if you guys follow my Instagram, or if you guys know me, you guys know that I've started learning Brazilian Portuguese. As of right now, it's been 3 weeks, and it's been really amazing. It's been a whole lot of fun. And as I was learning it from the beginning, I realized that, you know what, maybe I should share this experience because I haven't started from the beginning with the language in quite a while. And I just wanted to help show how I've been doing it, why I've been doing it, and what's been working for me. Just because when I'm talking to other people about this experience, they keep pointing out that, like, hey, you're making a lot of progress for someone who was only learning it for a week or 2 weeks and now 3 weeks. So yeah, I just really think that what I've been doing is working for me. Obviously, everyone is different, but it's been really useful. So yeah, I wanted to share that. As always, feel free to skip around the video to find what's important or interesting to you. So for the first part of the video, I am going to be talking about why I'm learning Brazilian Portuguese. Then I will talk about how I got started, mentioning things like what I knew going into it and things like that. And then I will talk about how I'm learning it and, what kind of resources I'm using, what methods I'm using, and things of this sort. And then I'll talk about how it's going and what I'm looking forward to moving forward. So first, why I'm learning Brazilian Portuguese. So a little over a month ago, I started volunteering at a local church, and I'm helping out with the youth and with the kids there. And a lot of the women there, especially the woman that's in charge of the youth, are Brazilian. And I, have been getting to know them a lot and was really interested in learning their culture, especially after having had them express the fact that not many other people in their families or the people here in the States or in the city have not learned Portuguese, and therefore they don't have this chance to speak it either like with their kids or with other people around them. So I wanted to learn Portuguese almost as my gift to them because it's been such an amazing experience working with them, and I just wanted to give something back. And I figured, I entered this church saying that I speak 5 languages, and for Portuguese not to be one of them seems a little weird to me. So I decided to learn Brazilian Portuguese. And, if you watched my other video about my language journey, you know that I did learn the basics of Portuguese way back when. Did I remember any of that? No. But it's been really great to get back into it. Okay, so for how I started Portuguese, so as you guys know, I had some foundation, so I did know things like, how to say hi, how are you, and to say like I am Niyah, these kinds of things. So what I did was I went to my language exchange apps that I mentioned in my other video about language partners, and I just sent that to a bunch of people from Brazil, and I kind of took note of how they were responding. So everyone responds to that question in different ways, and I started taking note of all of the different ways that I could respond to that. And then what I would also do is sometimes I would not say hi, how are you? I would just say hi, and I would let them ask how am I. And I learned that there are so many different ways to ask someone how they are, and I kind of took note of that. And what I would do is every time I came across a new phrase to say the same thing, I would front load it and just send it to more people until it became ingrained in my brain, ingrained in my brain to say these things, to all of these different ways to say hi, how are you, or to say I'm fine, or to say everything's great, or everything. And as I continued to learn more different things, I just continued to use that method. So, at first my conversations were very short, and we would switch to English or Spanish or whatever the other language that we have in common is. but now it's been growing a lot. Another thing that I would do is I was using apps. I would had different types of apps that I would use and learn different vocabulary and just try to put it together. And what's been really helpful for me is having language partners. I have people that contacted me through Instagram. The second I said I started learning Portuguese, they contacted me and said, hey, you can practice with me. And honestly, they are amazing. It's been so much fun working with them. We do video calls, and we kind of just chat in between our video calls and such like that. And, sometimes it's a little more instructional. So I'm getting almost like classroom vibes, but I also get to just have a lot of fun with the language and practice and really hone in on my skills, especially with pronunciation and, practicing forming these sentences and figuring out how things work. Another thing that I've been doing personally is that I have a Google Drive. So I don't know if you guys use this or not, but I have a Google Drive where I keep track of all of the new words that I learn each week. So I have a column for masculine nouns, feminine nouns, verbs, and everything else. And I kind of keep it sort of color coded because if you guys know anything about the different types of learners and the whole auditory and visual and kinesthetic person, I am very kinesthetic, but I am also very slightly visual. So I do like to have colors, but I don't need them. So like I said, I'm kinesthetic. So that's why for me, what works is to use what I learn right away as much as possible. And that's how I'm going to get it done. But I like to have this visual aspect to kind of go back to it. So I don't do flashcards or anything like that. I do not go back and study these vocab lists, but it's more so for me to have this chance to say okay, here are all the things I learned, or here are the things that I'm learning throughout this week, and kind of just keep track of it. For me, especially with the fact that I already know Spanish and French, the vocab has been kind of easy for me. I guess it's also just because it's the beginning, and I think beginnings of languages are always the easiest part. I think you progress really fast in your beginning stages, and then when you hit the intermediate, that's when you plateau. But yeah, so I haven't had a need to study vocabulary. It's really been, here's a new vocab word, and if I use it, I'll remember it kind of thing. So I do have these lists, and with my language partners, my friends from Instagram, I actually shared this document with them. So sometimes it'll be something like, okay, here are the words that I learned this week, and we'll just practice making sentences with them. Or they'll kind of throw it into an example of something else they're explaining later on, and it'll just be yeah, I just wanted to see you recognize that word or something like that. And that's been really helpful to kind of have it in context. So yeah, between that, and I've also been I would take a day out of each week where I would either just write a whole bunch of random sentences, just using whatever vocab I had, just writing the slightest sentences ever, something like I drink tea, kind of just, reason the conjugated verb, a reason to use the different nouns or the different adjectives and things like that I've been learning. And then one week after I felt pretty confident in learning a bunch of stuff, I kind of wrote an introduction to myself, and I wrote it out with everything that I could say about myself that I remember going over with people, and just having that and knowing that I did it was pretty exciting. And what I'm going to do starting in May is that I want to get into starting to journal, because I feel like by the time we get into May, I will be at a point where I'm ready to have enough vocabulary to write more and more about each day, and kind of understanding where I need to continue to work. So I will be doing that. And yeah, so just also using my language partners as much as possible, going through Tandem and Hello Talk, and just chatting with people, some people really challenge me. It's been really fun. I have some people that'll we just send voice messages like back and forth to each other, and I did not feel like I was ready to have a voice message conversation in Portuguese, but I've done it. And I think that is the best thing that I could have done with my Portuguese journey was to do it anyways, despite feeling like I wasn't ready. And it's been really fun. So besides language partners, the apps and things that I've been using to learn Portuguese are, and I will also explain how I'm using them and why I like them. So first and foremost, I love Busu. I will sing praises to Busu forever. So I've been using Busu, and if you don't know about Busu, I will definitely make a video about Busu, but what I've been using Busu for is I quickly realized that the grammar of Portuguese is very similar to Spanish grammar. And what I wanted to do first with the A1 level of Busu was to start to go over these grammar concepts that are pretty much identical to Spanish. So, things like the difference between ser and estar, or, the difference between saber and conocer, like masculine nouns, feminine nouns. Getting through that, and then also just kind of doing some of the basic things. So learning hi, how are you, learning to talk about yourself and to describe people and things like that. That's all I've done so far, just because I keep trying to stop myself and not to overload because it's so easy. I know it's very easy for me to go, okay, well, I have time. I'm just going to learn everything right now. And I know that in the long run, that's not useful and none of it will stick. So I have to keep trying to pace myself despite how much I want to just learn it all. So yeah, so I've been using Busu for that, and moving forward I will continue to use Busu, and it's also just really great for tracking progress. I love it. And I've been using Duolingo just because I have times in my day where I'm really busy and I don't have time to study. So I like that I can use this 5 minutes and I know that, like, okay, I heard Portuguese for a second, or I had to say a Portuguese word today, or, things like that. But what I've also been doing with Duolingo is that I am taking the vocab from Duolingo. Every time a new word pops up, I add it to my vocab list. So my vocab list that I mentioned, I have words from Duolingo on there. And also I like to take notes and I copy down every new phrase that pops up, because it helps to show me different ways that you can play with the language and different ways to work through the language. So part of why I'm doing that is because starting in May, when I start getting into writing a lot more in Portuguese, I want to get more practice with creating these different sentences and things like that. And I'm going to use structures from Duolingo and also from Busu. Busu offers a lot of great sentence practice as well. So I want to use the sentences that I took from these platforms and to try to create my own sentences from them using different words and mixing and matching. That's a method that I will talk about in a future video. It's a wonderful method. And then the other app that I've been using, which I am kind of new to, is Pimsleur. So the second I started learning Brazilian Portuguese, I knew that the pronunciation would kill me. And I really wanted an app that would help to focus in on the sounds of the language. And I had a friend in the past that always talked about Pimsleur, and I knew about Pimsleur. I had tried Pimsleur before, but it never resonated with me because it wasn't what I needed in the languages that I was using before. So I called her up and we talked for a while, and she kind of sold me on the Pimsleur idea. And I do enjoy Pimsleur. I do like this idea of practicing a conversation and learning this really interesting conversations, and to hone in on your pronunciation skills and to get this chance to listen and feel immersed in this environment. I think it's a wonderful platform. My only qualm with Pimsleur is that I don't have 30 minutes a day. Don't I don't like podcasts. I'm not a podcast person. I know a lot of language learners and people in general love podcasts, and I commend you because I cannot listen to a podcast, especially if it's longer than about 10 minutes. So, yeah, Pimsleur is a 30-minute. Every lesson is 30 minutes, and that's a lot. And I get extremely bored halfway through, and I feel like I am like struggling to get through that second half of it. So I have not been really consistent. I started off doing a lesson a day, which is recommended, and I liked it, except, yeah, I just hated how long it was, and it didn't really budget into my day the way that I wanted it to. So in the beginning, I would do my Pimsleur lesson either at night after I laid down. I realized that was a bad idea because I was tired and I just wanted to sleep, and the last thing I wanted to do was sit here and listen to people talking and pretending I'm talking to them. But I then switched it over and I would do it like during my morning routine, except my morning routine did not take 30 minutes, or, it just wasn't, the timing didn't make sense for me. So I'm still trying to figure it out because I do want to use the platform, and I've already spent my $22 for this month, so I feel like I should get $22 out of it. But yeah, so I do like Pimsleur. If you're into podcasts and things like that, I definitely recommend it. It's great for practicing your pronunciation and things like that. Another thing that I've been doing, which isn't like something I do consistently, just because most of my Portuguese learning has been through using it. I'm not being very structured about how I'm learning Portuguese. Like, for instance, I have not like written out like a verb chart or anything. It's really just been, if it popped up, I know it, and if it didn't, okay. And like, there's a couple of verbs that I can say in the past tense, not because I learned the past tense, but because, if someone asks, how was your day? Then now I know how to say was, and it looks very much like Spanish, so I can use that in a sentence as well now. And, when I'm talking to people, and after having learned, how to say that I started learning Portuguese this while ago, I know how to say, like, to start in the past tense for the first person, as well as, some other verbs that I kind of just practiced using what I knew and just guessed and had people correct me. And then it was like, oh, okay, so obviously these verbs don't work that way, but they work this way. Okay, great. Note it. We'll do it again next time. And just trying to practice as much as possible. But another thing I've been using is I have like short stories, like Portuguese short stories on like, I think it's on like iBooks, or I don't know what that little weird iPhone app is. It's orange, and it says books or something. But I like to go there every once in a while when I'm starting a new language, because sometimes they have like free PDFs and things like that. So I found this free short story book thing, and you can kind of read a short story, and then afterwards they have like a vocab list of everything you learned, as well as like questions about what happened, all in Portuguese, which I think is really great. I thought it was really interesting. The first story that I read, it took me about a week to read, because just like with podcasts, I don't like reading. So I would read about like a page a day, and that was as much as I could commit to the vibe. But yeah, so I read this book, and it was really interesting because I could understand everything. Like, there was at no point in the story did I feel lost or confused. And this is, I think I started that story on day 3 or day 4 of learning Portuguese. So yeah, so that was kind of helpful. And it was kind of just like these things where it was like, okay, it's either cognate or context clues that it's helping me to understand what's going on. But yeah, so I really like that method. It's been really great. Once again, I am not a vocab person, so I'm not going through and highlighting every single word I don't know, only the ones that seem interesting or that I might use. Like, I learned the word for like package or box, and I felt like, I order things from Amazon a lot. I might use that. Whereas I don't need the word for like mailman because I never see the mailman. He just drops it on the step and runs away. I think I might say mailman maybe once a year in English, so I don't think I'm going to say it in Portuguese a lot. So it goes. But yes, I've been loving the short stories, even though I've only read one, but it's fine. We'll get there. So that's all I can really say about Portuguese as of now. I have had really extensive conversations with a whole lot of different people. My pronunciation is still trash. It's disgusting. These are my words. Other people's words have been that it sounds like a native Spanish speaker speaking Portuguese, which, I mean, it's a step up from like a American speaking Portuguese. So I'll take it. I will take sounding like a Spanish speaker speaking Portuguese, because that's how I feel when I speak Portuguese. I am always fighting myself to not speak Spanish. So yeah, I totally understand that it should probably sound like Spanish. And especially with all the cognates, I am very tempted to just pronounce them as if they're Spanish. And I'm also working on the intonation, because when I'm talking to different people, I realize that the way that they say the words in their sentences and things like that is very different than how I speak Spanish or French or Spanish, or did I say Spanish? Okay. Or English. I don't know what language I just named, but it's very different, and I really want to practice that. Also, my next steps will include finding music in Portuguese that I can listen to, as well as TV shows or movies of some sort, because I do like TV and I do love music. So yeah, I do definitely want to find some like different things to really just get immersed into it, more than just talking, even though most of what I'll be doing with Portuguese is talking, so it would make sense for me to continue talking. But yes, so I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you guys have any questions about my Portuguese journey or anything, please comment and let me know. If there's anything that you want to know more about, I'm here. I will always answer your comments and questions or whatever. I can make more videos. I was wondering if you guys wanted more progress reports on Portuguese. Obviously not weekly, because as we can see, I'm not consistent with this weekly thing, but I can do like monthly or something like that, to kind of just show where I am with Portuguese, or how it's going, how, whether or not I quit or not, because it might happen. But hopefully I don't quit Portuguese, because I really enjoy it and it's been a lot of fun. So yes, you guys let me know what else you want to see on my channel in general, what kind of things you want me to discuss, or what kind of things you'll be interested in seeing. So yeah, thank you.